It's official. The Diddy trial has ripped off its polite gloves and is now throwing haymakers you never saw coming. What started as Cassie's horrifying story has detonated into something way bigger than any gossip blog could have predicted. Forget the usual celebrity dirt. We're talking about federal courtrooms buzzing with unheard audio, leaked whispers painting vivid pictures, and a tidal wave of old footage dragging some serious Hollywood heavyweights into the muck. The internet's practically smoking. The streets are buzzing with whispers, and you can bet the people involved are currently questioning every life choice they've ever made. So, what just went down? After weeks of the prosecution laying out Cassie's alleged nightmare, the abuse, those infamous freak-offs, and Diddy's iron-fisted control, the whole thing swerved hard. Court insiders and online leaks are saying the focus has laser-locked onto audio recordings. And these aren't just any old chats. We're talking about supposedly raw, explicit tapes that allegedly feature Diddy alongside Will Smith and Meek Mill. Yeah, this isn't some Twitter rumor that'll vanish by morning. This is reportedly being played in open court, sending shockwaves through the room. To understand how we got here, let's rewind a bit. Cassie's allegations against Diddy were already explosive on their own. Claims of emotional manipulation, physical abuse, and years of psychological torment. As the trial began, it quickly gained traction, turning into a full-blown media frenzy. The courtroom drama escalated when the hotel lobby video was shown. No sound, just visuals. Most people figured that was the extent of it. But then came the bombshell. Sources deep inside the trial revealed that behind closed doors, audio was played, and it left the entire courtroom in stunned silence. Phones were banned. Journalists couldn't record. Just absolute heavy silence. One person who was there described the clip as undeniably graphic, the kind of thing that makes a room freeze because you know you've just heard something serious. It wasn't just shocking, it was legally significant. This wasn't background noise. This was evidence, and it had the power to change everything. Now, let's dive deeper into what was actually on those tapes. According to insider reports, the audio played in court allegedly captured Diddy laughing while someone was being assaulted in the background. That detail alone is enough to make anyone's stomach turn. The graphic nature of the recording reportedly caused a visible reaction in the courtroom. Gasps, silent stares, and even journalists struggling to maintain composure. But what's even more disturbing is that none of this audio has officially leaked yet. No shaky phone recording, no blurry screenshot, just second-hand accounts and whispered summaries from those inside. That silence only makes it more mysterious and concerning. Some speculate that the tapes might be so damaging that authorities are hesitant to release them, possibly fearing widespread panic or legal repercussions for others caught in the crossfire. If true, this audio could carry immense legal weight, potentially sealing Diddy's fate in court, while also implicating others in ways we haven't even begun to process. But the story doesn't stop at the audio. Right after the playback, a list of new witnesses was announced, and these weren't random clout chasers. We're talking about ex-bad boy artists, former staff members, individuals who were in Diddy's inner circle, toured with him, partied at his mansions. These are people who allegedly witnessed things firsthand, and may have stayed silent for years, but are now ready to talk under the protection of the law. One of those voices is Dawn Richards, formerly of Danity Kane. She recently testified and was later photographed looking completely drained and shaken as she left the courthouse, swarmed by paparazzi. Insiders say her testimony backed up Cassie's claims, adding another layer of credibility to the case. She reportedly stated that she saw Diddy beat Cassie because she didn't finish making his food on time. The next day, he came into the room and threatened her, allegedly telling her, "Don't say anything. What y'all saw up there was passion. And when people say stuff about things like this about me, they end up missing. That's not speculation. That's reportedly in the court transcripts." Then there's Will Smith's name entering the spotlight, and not in a good way. His involvement reportedly comes directly from the audio played in court, which immediately sent the internet into overdrive. Old clips, awkward side interviews, podcast snippets. Suddenly, every past interaction between Will and Diddy was being dissected under a harsh new light. One interview that went viral again featured comedian Luell casually mentioning that Diddy and Will were clapping each other's cheeks. At the time, most people missed the implications, but now it exploded across social media. Memes were born, and the speculation began to snowball. Fans started rewatching old footage of Will with his son, Jaden Smith. Those affectionate kisses and overly playful energy, once seen as quirky father-son moments, were now being reinterpreted through a completely different lens. People started voicing discomfort, saying something felt off. Then came the nuclear moment. Brother Bilal, Will Smith's former assistant, dropped his own set of allegations that made everything even harder to dismiss as mere gossip. He claimed to have personally witnessed Will engaging in explicit acts, even describing walking in on him and Dwayne Martin in a compromising position. And then there's Meek Mill, who found himself dragged even further into the spotlight. His name reportedly came up during the courtroom playback of those alleged freak-off tapes. Once that news broke, it was chaos. Unlike Will, who tried to shut it down with a calm denial, Meek went into full meltdown mode. His Twitter feed became a non-stop barrage of defensive posts, and honestly, the more he tweeted, the more convinced people became that something was definitely amiss. For years, fans had joked about his dynamic with Diddy, giving Meek nicknames like Diddy's intern or Pocket Puppet. But now those old jokes were being re-examined as if they were puzzle pieces, finally clicking into place. The internet dug up receipts. One viral video showed him at a party with billionaire Michael Rubin acting almost childlike and awkward, with people pointing out how uncomfortable he seemed. There was even an infamous birthday party clip where Diddy called Meek Daddy by the pool surrounded by shirtless men, saying things like, "Proud of you, I love you. I appreciate life, Daddy." The internet did not let that one slide, and Daddy became an instant meme. So why hasn't any of the audio officially leaked yet? That's the million-dollar question everyone's asking. In today's digital age, secrets don't usually stay buried for long. iCloud hacks, leaked court documents, even sensitive courtroom audio tend to find their way online eventually. But not a single sliver of those alleged Diddy tapes has surfaced. Not a clip, not a whisper, not even a screenshot. That silence screams volumes and has people speculating wildly. Some argue it's about protecting identities or shielding vulnerable parties, which sounds reasonable on the surface. Others believe it's because the audio is simply too explosive, implicating too many famous names, revealing too much truth that could topple careers and spark lawsuits. Journalists have already started asking tough questions. If this audio is so crucial, so damning, why is it locked away? Why can't the public hear what's potentially being used to convict someone in a system that supposedly values transparency? This silence feels deliberate, and until we get answers, the speculation will only grow louder. This trial has stopped being solely about Diddy and Cassie weeks ago. It's unearthing a potential network, a deeply ingrained culture operating behind the gilded gates of fame and fortune, something that might have been happening for years unchecked. And the only reason it's seeing the light now is because of relentless federal pressure. and because the alleged survivors and insiders finally feel a semblance of safety in speaking out. We're witnessing the very public unraveling of someone who has been a fixture in the spotlight for decades. Someone who once seemed untouchable. But Diddy was more than just a music mogul. He was woven into the very fabric of hip-hop, television, fashion, and broader culture. He cultivated that bad boy for life image. The extravagant parties, the vote or die campaign, the billionaire friendships. But now, all of that carefully constructed facade is crumbling in real time. What's truly unsettling is how many people are now looking back and saying, "We should have seen this coming." Because in hindsight, the alleged red flags were always there. From his reported intense control over his artists, to those bizarre interviews where he'd insert pause after almost every sentence, as if hiding something. The fallout from this trial is massive, both culturally and emotionally. Diddy's empire, built over decades, is now hanging by a thread. Will Smith's already fragile reputation, still reeling from the Oscar slap, is now on even shakier ground. People who defended him during that controversy are now questioning his character even more deeply. Because if those audio tapes are real, and if he's on them, this isn't just a PR nightmare, it could be career-ending. As for Meek Mill, the internet has practically declared him guilty in the court of public opinion. He hasn't been charged with anything, but his frantic defensive behavior online only fuels the widespread suspicion. And that's the brutal reality of the digital age. Once your name is indelibly linked to something this dark, legal innocence might not matter. The perception battle is often already lost, yet the silence from official channels persists. There's no statement explaining the delay in releasing the tapes, no acknowledgement of their existence beyond the leaked summaries. This only strengthens the theory that these tapes are too volatile to touch. Maybe the individuals on them wield too much influence, or maybe the government itself is navigating a treacherous political landscape. One thing is certain. This isn't a story that will simply fade away. The internet has a long memory and an even longer reach. When people feel like the truth is being deliberately concealed, their determination to uncover it only intensifies. If these tapes ever do surface, it could shake the very foundations of Hollywood's elite circles. Not just because of what Diddy allegedly did, but because of who else might have been in that room. The velvet curtain is slowly being drawn back, and what lies behind it might be far more disturbing than anyone could have imagined. We'll definitely be keeping a close watch on how this unfolds, because this is only the beginning.